After the new 110 and 135 horsepower models, we have now completed the new high range with two models around 160 horsepower and a 180 horsepower flagship. Let's see what they're all about. These tractors enjoy all of the improvements in visibility, noise level, functionality and style of the tractors with the Giugiaro design. But since they are intended for special clients, really discriminating professionals, they also embody certain important innovations. We can see the further improvements and innovations in the control zone. The single gear lever proclaims the long-awaited full power shift, which can change gear under power. The tip-up cab revolutionizes the whole concept of maintenance and servicing. Let's have a look at the engines. With the new tractors, new 6-cylinder Series 1000 engines have been developed. The standardization is exactly as announced. A 153 HP air-cooled engine, a 160 HP water-cooled engine, and a 180 HP engine for the three models. The new Same 153 horsepower turbo has its intercooler in the conveyor zone. On the new Lamborghini and Hürlimann 160 HP turbo, the intercooler is in front of the radiator. In addition, the 180 HP version has a strange development in the air pipes. It's the intercooler turbo model with resonance, which exploits a principle now adopted on our engines for the first time. The resonance phenomenon causes in-phase stationary waves when the valves are opened. It also increases the amount of air pumped into the pistons at maximum torque. To develop these powers, all of the single components had to be redesigned in every detail. The new pistons, for example, have an internal channel in which cooling oil circulates. We can compare the current piston with the new improved system. The first seal ring has been raised to reduce the dead combustion space and therefore exhaust and fume emission. The second external chromium-plated ring has a twisted shape to reduce oil consumption and blow-by. The exhaust emissions of our engines are already lower than any limits likely to be specified in future laws. The design of the connecting rod has been revised. Wider gudgeon pin, upper small end lowered, rod shaft larger. The result is a better distribution of stresses. The new generation electronic governor displays consumption and power developed. The engines have been tested on the test bed for a total of 8,000 hours. Two completely new modular transmissions have been designed for the new high range. The first is called Power Shift and has 27 gears, 3 of which can be changed under load without using the clutch. But the real jewel in the range is the transmission we call Full Power Shift. It has a good 9 gears that can be changed under load. In practice, in each of the 3 application ranges of the tractor, Super Reducer from 0.5 to 2 kilometers an hour, Work from 2.5 to 10 kilometers an hour, and Transport from 10 to 40 kilometers an hour, all 9 gears are in power shift. That's incredibly convenient and has nothing at all in common with the 4-gear solutions devised by the competition. The development of this project is definitely one of the most demanding undertakings Same has ever faced. On 2 purpose-built test beds, operating night and day, 2 generations of transmissions have been alternating for 3 years, running for a total of over 5,000 hours and with almost 1 million gear changes. In all, the project has cost about 10 billion lira and took 5 years of work. These new power shifts might well be called a compendium of technology. Hundreds and hundreds of parts, precision engineering, hydraulics and electronics, work together to the full satisfaction of the Same user, who now has his own power shift transmission, the most innovative available worldwide. Now, what exactly is a power shift? In a conventional gear change system, the connection between gear and shaft is by means of a toothed sleeve. If we want to change gear, we press the clutch pedal and shift the gear lever. The sleeve moves and changes gear. In the power shift system, instead of the sleeve, there is a clutch for every gear. The oil, put under pressure by electrovalves, keeps the clutch locked. If we want to change gear, it's no longer necessary to press the clutch pedal. We simply shift the gear lever. And the oil moves to another clutch, changing gear automatically and not interrupting the flow of power to the wheels. These are the three clutches in the epicyclic unit: high, normal and low, common to the two transmissions, full and power shift. To engage any of the three gears, in the power shift system, we simply press the electrovalve keys on the gear lever. The full power shift is more complicated because of the addition of another three clutches. Together with the ones we saw before, these three clutches make it possible to have 9 gears in power shift. The simultaneous control of these clutches generates certain rather delicate problems. The gear change must never be so sharp that it disturbs the driver, or so slow that it overheats or damages the clutches. This is the hydraulic heart of our transmissions. From here, the pressurized oil is distributed to the clutches that will be called upon to work. The command law varies according to speed, gear, and the tractor's operating conditions. Everything is under the strict control of a computer, which carries out the driver's commands, indicating eventual hazard conditions for the driver or the transmission. Thanks to the technology used, we have only one lever to control a good 9 forward and 9 reverse gears. If we want to travel at 40 kilometers an hour, we simply move the lever into 9th, and the computer gradually engages increasingly higher gears according to a predetermined schedule. But it constantly checks that the engine rev count doesn't drop too low. To slow down, the lever can be moved into 1st, and the electronics perform the change-down operations, still making sure that the engine doesn't reach a runaway speed rate. Going into reverse is a very easy, fast maneuver too. Obviously, it's safe as well, because the reverse gear is not engaged until the forward speed is low enough. Let us just mention that the new power shift transmissions are fitted with all of the customary SAME electronic devices, including SPA, which automatically locks the differential and disengages four-wheel drive. These tractors too use the separate brake valve, which allows only the rear brakes to be used in the event of asymmetrical braking. In the hydraulic circuits of these tractors, we have two important innovations. Let's start with the first. In a conventional system for a tractor, a pump feeds the hydro guide and the transmission services. Another pump uses the same oil to serve in sequence first the auxiliary distributors and then the rear lift, not allowing both units to be used at the same time. In order for both units to be used at once, in the new circuit, this second pump has been replaced by 2 pumps with half the delivery. One for the auxiliary distributors, and the other for the lift and the hydro guide. The reduced delivery rates are quite sufficient for 90% of working time. When it becomes momentarily necessary, the system instantly meets extra requirements by automatically adding the deliveries of the 2 pumps together and feeding the entire delivery to the unit that needs it. This system also means energy saving. To keep the oil cleaner and to feed more oil to the outside equipment, in the new circuit, the transmission is served by a special pump, but it belongs to a circuit which is completely separate. The other innovation concerns the front lift. For the first time, a tractor will be fitted with a position control for the front lift. In the new control system, we see the anti-shock valve, which dampens impacts generated by overhanging front loads for tractor stability, and the angle transducer, which repositions the lift arms after every movement. It can also work simultaneously with the rear and front lifts. Here is a stylized proposal for the new double control for the electronic front and rear lift. These tractors are fitted with cabs with the new Jujar or new range design, endowed with the well-known noise level, air conditioning and visibility features, and so on. In the driver's compartment, certain details reveal technical innovations. First and foremost, the new gear shifts. The 3-gear power shift control lever and the full power shift lever have both been designed in full observance of ergonomic criteria. Then, the electronic innovations. When inserted into the manual accelerator keyboard, the second-generation electronic engine speed governor signals reliable details on consumption and the power being used. The electronic lift is also the second generation, which combines the front-rear control, with a new control panel. Finally, the most sensational innovation. The conventional instrument panel on the dashboard can be replaced by the global monitor version with TV camera, rear view and television monitor. The ordinary servicing and assistance system has also its innovations. In particular, access to ordinary servicing points is incredibly easy. When the front right side panel is removed, the engine air filter can be cleaned with the greatest of ease. Behind the rear side panel are the engine servicing points: oil level, air oil exchanger, injection pump, and engine speed governor. The transmission filters can be accessed from the front of the tractor and can be replaced by slipping them in from under the vehicle. For unscheduled maintenance and repair operations, when the rear left wheel is removed, we have easy access to the hydraulic pumps. When the rear right wheel is off, we have all the servo assistance control electrovalves. Repair operations on the SAC system can be carried out with no difficulty at all by means of access from the rear of the tractor. When necessary, it is actually possible to remove the complete SAC box quite easily. For unscheduled maintenance, there is a great innovation, a tip-up cab. The operations are simple. Inside the driver's compartment, the range and super reducer levers are disengaged. Then, the side panels are removed and the bonnet is released and raised with the help of a gas spring. The anti-heat shield is also removed so that the central clutch adjustment valve can be disassembled without disconnecting it from its oil tubes. In the front of the cab, we have to unscrew the two cable connectors. To completely free the cab from the tractor body, we have to disengage the four flexible bearings on which it is sprung and the tie bolts of the auxiliary distributor control levers, which are accessed from the rear of the tractor. At this point, the two pins on which the cab tips up are inserted into the stirrup holes. All we do then is activate a hand pump which sends oil to a cylinder and tilts the cab 20 degrees. Note that you only need about 20 minutes to perform all of these operations against the 6 hours or so required to remove a laser cab. After positioning the safety bar, we have full access both to the whole valve system, which controls the delivery of oil to the power shift clutches, and to the mechanisms located beneath the gearbox casing. When the cylinder oil is discharged, the cab softly slides down onto its four flexible bearings, settling on them automatically. In the new high range, for the Same, Lamborghini and Hürlimann models, we will have four-wheel drive, 160 and 180 horsepower tractors with air-conditioned tip-up cabs. We will have full power shift and, only for the 160 horsepower version, the 3-gear power shift. Standard on all models are the synchronized ranges, electro-hydraulic controls, SPA, electronic lift, performance monitor, front lift and power takeoff. Reverse driving on request. To conclude, we have seen that these new tractors incorporate important innovations in the engines, the objective being to obtain powers which have never before been achieved by the Same group. They are fitted with transmissions in which the mechanics, hydraulics and electronics interact harmoniously. They have new hydraulic systems, more flexible, more efficient, and a new conception driver's compartment. Revolutionary accessibility. Compared with current tractors, dimensions and stability remain unchanged, but power is increased and weight is decreased, with a weight-power ratio of only 33 kilograms per horsepower, an absolute record even for our group. For a number of months now, the test engines of these new tractors have been undergoing functionality and proficiency tests in various kinds of working conditions. The first prototypes have already gone into the open field. to test their reliability by working hard for many thousands of hours.